Eric Burgess here, and we've been told to solve the following equation. So we've been given an equation with two absolute values in it. And so the first thing we're going to do is we're going to put one absolute value on one side and another absolute value on the other side so that we can use some properties that we learned earlier in this section. So we're going to go ahead and move this negative 2x absolute value over. So I'm going to add the absolute value of 2x to both sides. So I'm going to add it to this side and to this side. And we're going to get, as a result, absolute value of x squared plus 1 is equal to absolute value of 2x. Now here, because of some properties that we talked about earlier, namely that if we have a equals absolute value of b, absolute value of a equals absolute value of b, then it also holds true that plus or minus a is equal to absolute value of plus or minus b. And in fact, we can drop the absolute value on one side because this absolute value guarantees we're always going to get a positive number out. So what this means is we can take our top value up here. We could take x squared plus 1. This has to equal 2x, or x squared plus 1 has to equal negative 2x, right? Because if this is satisfied, if this one's satisfied, they're going to be equal, and the absolute value will get rid of the negative for us. And on this side, we would again be taken care of by the absolute values. So let's go ahead and solve this thing. Now we've got an exponent here squared, so some screwy stuff may go on that we're going to have to pay attention to. So let's look at this. So we're going to get x squared, and I'm going to move the 2x over. So I'm going to get minus 2x plus 1 equals 0. So I just subtracted 2x to both sides. We have something that can be factored. We're going to have, because we have now the zero factor property since we're equal to 0. So it's going to be x minus 1 times x minus 1, and that equals 0. So we get x is equal to 1 twice, because this is both going to be x equal 1, x equal 1. So we get 2 x equal 1s. Now over here we do the same thing. We get x squared, and in this case we're going to have plus 2x plus 1 equals to 0. So on this side we're going to get x plus 1 times x plus 1 will factor to give us this, because if we do this we'll get 1 times 1 is 1, 1x makes 2x, and x squared. And on this other side I didn't show it, but negative 1 times negative 1 gives positive 1, negative x gives negative 2x, and then x squared. So both sides check out fine. And we're going to get that x is equal to negative 1 twice. So we wind up with these two values. And we can go ahead and check these values. So, and they're really nice numbers. They're 1, so it shouldn't be too difficult to do. So if we plug it in, we get 1, and 1 squared is 1, so that is going to be 2. And then 1 times 2 is 2. 2 minus 2 is 0. So that checks out. And on this other one, we have negative 1. Negative 1 squared is 1, plus 1 is 2. And negative 1 times 2 is negative 2, but the absolute value is still 2. 2 minus 2 is 0. So both these values check out, and we would say that the solution set x is an element of the set negative 1, comma 1. And this is how you would write your answer, and it is that simple. If you have any questions about this, let me know. Subscribe. If you're a Citrus College student, feel free to stop by online tutoring. We're there to help you out, and we'll catch you in the next problem.